Outside British broadcasting communists, we're here to exemplify the point because everyone knows that there's two-tier media. But right now, this was about Congo, but right now in Syria, various different reports are saying 7,000 Christians brutally murdered in the last 48 hours. Now, when it comes to militia and terrorist organisations, unless your boots on the ground, you're simply not going to know. And we can't trust Western media anymore, mainstream media, Western media. We know that the US backed the fall of Assad. We know that HTS are a terrorist group. The president of Syria is ex-ISIS, ex-Al-Qaeda, and you've got rebel groups randomly wiping out minorities, women, children, Christians. This is what happens when you overthrow governments and you have rebels on the loose who have jihadi or Islamist intent. Absolutely. So the question we now have to say is not only call the BBC out on the fact that there isn't any worldwide coverage or outrage, but when the caliphate arrives in Britain and they are armed, what are we going to do? Syria then looks at us and says, well, we better help them. This is what we've got to do. It all starts with a conversation. Radical Islam remains the number one threat to national security in the West and certainly in a place like Syria.
How do you want the BBC to react to your protests tonight? Do you think they'll take notice?
They won't take notice. They're under orders to ignore. Obviously, the tactics are despicable. Ignore, remove, don't say anything. They're like lemmings. They're all pre-programmed robots. The BBC has been communist in orientation for many, many decades. Let's not forget that the BBC started out as what was called Home Service after the Second World War. And of course, it's now become, like most institutions in Britain, totally hijacked by the far left agenda at the behest of their globalist suppliers and commanders.
What effect do you think this protest will have? Do you think members of the public will take notice of it?
Absolutely. As ever, the official party line, with the death of mainstream media and the rise of independent media, plus people's children and grandchildren getting their information from social media, travels up the chain. Whether they do anything with that information or not is another question. That's why Disciples of Christ exists. That's why UKIP exists, to say, sorry, we're out of time now. It's time for duty. It's time for action. We've got to take our country back.
Now, on a separate question, what do you think of what recently happened with Rupert Lowe and the Reform Party?
Well, it's a joke, isn't it? It's a complete shambles. Our country's going down the pan and Reform still headlines. I mean, are we supposed to think that this isn't preordained? So item one, is it all just one big, is it matched together so that they stay in the headlines? Why is Rupert going at it with Nigel on X? Rupert's nearly 70 years old. He's a multi-millionaire. Why are they airing their dirty laundry in public? Are we supposed to believe that this is a genuine beef? Are we supposed to believe the allegations against Lowe from a few months ago have come to pass at the exact same time that Lowe's taken a shot at Nigel? Or is it all organised? Now let's just say it is genuine and it is just really unfortunate timing. Why is it being aired in public? It's all distractions and it's all designed to splinter the nationalistic, Christian, patriotic, common sense right. It's absolutely disgusting, and the British people have been downtrodden for so many months in recent years, so many decades in context. We can't take any more. Play a straight bat. Everyone needs to come home to UKIP, where we're going to get nothing but walking the walk, talking the talk, no flip-flopping, mass deportations. What's happening at the moment on social media between Lowe and Farage is an absolute disgrace, and we should hold them to account.
Is Rupert Lowe welcome to UKIP, and would you ever invite him to join the party if he wants to?
Rupert was invited to join the party as soon as the news broke. I did a little face-to-camera video. I've sent it to the highest person closest to Rupert. There's still radio silence. It's been 4 or 5 days now. I think that we're getting to the point now where if people aren't willing to back the right horse, we have to start pointing fingers saying, if not, why not? And there's also nonsense accusations that Rupert would potentially consider joining the Tories. He hasn't ruled it out. Again, keeping your options open, playing the game, seeing what comes your way. We're out of time. It's unacceptable.